strategy in which you think he can go before 2027 is how we want Maandamano organized. But my question is this: if we say maybe Monday, it's only teachers who are going to the streets, that they're leading the demos and all that. Assume all other platforms, all other people, farmers, they're busy in their farms. Every other person are busy in their places of work, and assume now only teachers wako kwa streets. Is it manageable? Because kama ni walimu peke yao wako kwa streets, maybe there are not many enough to lead the streets. It means Tuesday, as the other group, maybe doctors are on the streets, teachers will be back to classes teaching. Is it sustainable? Can it really make Ruto go?
Who asked? Change, ama ni Anthony, ama ni
Kowino.
Kowino. Kowino ni wewe? Okay, Kowino. How many teachers do we have in your ward? Let's begin from your ward, where you come from. Take teachers from hii kindergarten wanaita nini siku hizi, preschool. You know, take it from preschool and go up to the universities and colleges, including private, because a teacher is a teacher, whether you're privately employed or not. Let's begin from there. These people are not as few as you think, and you will realize the teachers in that particular ward are not, cannot even match the kind of police, because police will be fewer in that area. And I didn't say we are sitting behind. As youths, we don't have jobs and we have refused to be goons for hire. And therefore, we are supporting from behind. We don't leave them alone. We are together in it. It's unity in our diversity. We have different professions, and that unity is what we need. But let us give the farmers lead today. So it is their thing. It is their emotions that they are pouring, and we are helping them carry that emotion so that they know they are not alone, but they are the ones on the lead. Two, this Gachagua, I think he's going home from where I sit. Ni kama naenda. And when he goes, that is going to be another good opportunity. I am saying this because you touched on why I said the parliament is easy to send home. I believe all our problems begin from that parliament building. It is where the rot is. Why do I say that? They are representing us, but they have refused to represent us. And then the media has decided to give us something in our heads called opposition. While in our constitution, we don't have that thing. That monster called opposition is not there. We only have the parliamentarians who should voice our concerns. And therefore, once Gachagua goes home, that's going to be a clean slate for us. For the judiciary, to now we put them to task to send this parliament home because it is unconstitutional. And if that judiciary really upholds our constitution, then they will know, and I know they understand, that that building is unconstitutional as at now. So once we are done with Rigiji, we begin on sending the entire parliament home. Once they go home, automatically a general election will go, and that is how Ruto is. But this thing is not as difficult as we want. What we need is to tighten our belt kidogo, to throw away Thomases in our heads, like, is it doable? Is it not doable? I feel that's where our problem is, if you ask me. It is doable. Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to ask on the ways of sending parliament home, because previously watu walikuwa wamesema tuwasalimie and all that, and the truth is mi nimesema tukikuja hapa, by the way, I don't want us to massage each other's ego. I love your submissions and the strategies una outline how we should go about this, because they are really good strategies. Beautiful. Hiyo ya kusend parliament home, because Rigiji akikuwa kicked out, if they manage to impeach Rigiji, which I feel like they will, maybe it's a game, maybe wanajaribu pia kutuchezea, you never know. My question is, wakikick Rigiji out, what strategies do we use to send parliament home? Because inamaanisha it's now a united parliament. It's a united parliament. All like the 290 MPs probably wanna sing the same tune, wanna dance to the same tunes. How do we marshal the troops za kuwa send home? How do we do it? because IBC as it stands bado ijakuwa reconstituted, manisha even collecting signatures ama recalling them bado ni impossible. Is there another route ya kuwa send home or just go through the streets? Naradu, and then I'll go to the next speaker.
Kowino, we are talking about revolution. And when we talk revolution, the tools the oppressor has put in place to oppress you. Who tells you IEBC is going to listen to you? Who picks IEBC? You know, when we talk revolution, just read all this revolutionary book. Walitupa kando maneno ya system, wakakuja na system yao. You know, and where do we focus? How do we send them home? Judiciary. That's the only option. Judiciary. Remember, there's this time that we raised this parliament not being constitutional. And you know, parliament walishatumwa home kitambo. Yani, they had been saying, was it Maraga or who? I think it was Maraga. And as it stands now, that building, those who are there are literally being there illegally. They are not, that parliament is not a legal entity, and the judiciary. Remember what the parliament, the Justice Koome told us. I would share. Let me just get that note and share it on the messages right now once I'm done. So you read, they were like, they would give a ruling on parliament. I think it was to be on 27th of September or sometime in September. That ruling has since passed because that was to buy time on us. The maandamano, the demonstrations were high on alert, and they wanted to divert our attention, and successfully they did. And therefore, as it stands now, Parliament itself is unconstitutional. Number two, there is no way you want to tell us that we are going to use as revolutionaries the oppressors' means and systems. No, it has never worked anywhere unless we are joking, unless we are jokers when we talk about doing a revolution. But if we mean a revolution, then it is all systems go and we start afresh. That would be my take. Thank you. Did I answer you, Kowino?
Yes, you've answered me. Thank you. Thank you, Nyaradwen, for that. Now I'll go to Mwangi, then Flo. Yeah, then guys, please now let's try to take the shortest time possible. We want to wind up. Again, this is your space. We might not have everyone who is on the request panel to come and speak, but we'll be doing this more often. So people will be circulating the speaker so that we get to hear everyone's ideas. We know what, so that we can find the way forward on how to change our country. I'd rather not have everyone come here and give a 3-minute submission and drop without us engaging and finding solutions on how to fix this country. I'd rather we even have the least number of speakers, but we engage so that next time we have new people, we engage again so that we find solutions. So again, if probably you've requested and we can't see your request because on my end I can't see any, you can also DM us and tell us. You can even write in the comment section and tell us that probably on the request and we can't see because sometimes the space hangs. I'll go to Mwangi. Mwangi, talk to us. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. How is everyone? You can hear me?
We are fine, thank you. Go ahead, please. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I think I am happy, and it's an honor to always be in these spaces because we have chosen this is our lives. I want to begin by acknowledging that on that question of revolution, or that argument of revolution, I think people need to wake up to the reality that revolution started on 25th of June 2024, and the plane took off. Ruto and his people They are still asleep. They are not awake to the truth. But that entrance to the parliament, the way people came out, revolution started. Many people may have expected, like Ruto said, that it is going to be anarchy. Many people that we are going to have a militia-like groups that are going to weaponize this country. But I think it is high time that everybody realized that the kind of revolution that took place is a change of attitude. It is a change of worldview, is a change of perspective. I deal on a daily basis in my work with groups of farmers. And I will say to everybody who is hearing me that if you are still saying we need to strategize, we need to plan, you have not boarded the plane. You need to board the plane in your capacity. Nobody who mobilized me, but I am out here. I don't have a leader I am accountable to, but my passion and my commitment to the communities and to the groups that I know and I lead, I believe the battle for removing the members of parliament or these people will not be won by us driving the agenda of falsehood or mouthing everywhere. It is an economic agenda that happened immediately after the breach of parliament. And people lost confidence with the leadership that we have in this country. But how do you integrate that beginner with the future and with making things count for us, whether in before 2027 or at 2027? We should not expect a miracle of us being voted in if there are people here who wish to be leaders when you are seated in your comfort. People begin at the point of knowledge. So if you have not presented yourselves now to people, telling them even of the most basic bill that passed in 2023, that is the Water Bill 2023, which has even an extreme of PPP, where they can privatize our water sources and somebody builds a dam and begins selling water to us. If you have not woken up to such a reality on the most basic need of human being, which is water, and if you don't have a beginning point to integrate what happened on 25th of June, I today want to give us a hint. With all respect, you can begin with the water bill. In the villages, today I met some chairmen of water projects. Nobody who funded me to do that. I organized, I met them, I explained to them, they resonated with me. Actually, they have already installed the meters that they were supposed to be, that they were asked when circulars were issued by RUA and WARMA, that they need to install meters for the water project that they are using. And it is good to note, in their presentation, they were telling me, in the previous years, they used to pay 50 cents for a cubic of water that they were consuming. In the current water bill, they are paying 5 shillings per cubic meter. So what that means is, it is 10 times more. Now that is the significance or the impact, that people are having now to pay projects that were community initiated. They were not from the government. From the basic need that a Kenyan is supposed to have, which is water, they are paying 10 times more. Now, that is not in addition to the amount of money they are paying to NEMA. That is not also in addition to the licensing of them to operate a water project. So the water charges for them has gone very high. And as I explained to them what is happening and what is going on, it is at that point they begin learning and realizing they are being shortchanged. And the question arises, when this was happening, where was our member of parliament? Because our members of parliament were the ones who are supposed to defend our water sources and our farmers and our people, that they can have right to water without being charged. So that is one of the beginning point. The second thing is churches. There are groups that are in the church. If you attend a church service in towns, it's high time you begin attending churches in the local villages. Personally, I taught some farmers who are harvesting onion yesterday somewhere, and one of them happened to be a chairlady of other women groups in different churches. And she told me, Mwangi, on Sunday, I have a group that I am meeting, women who are leaders of all the other groups. So she told me, I want to invite you to come and speak to them. I don't want to profess myself as a leader, but that automatically gives me a voice. When I go to speak to them, if I ever go back to them, they will remember me as the man who told them of the oppression of this government. So those who have not started, don't wait for a miracle. You better start. And those small groups, those small segments of people, cells of people are where voters come from. I had a brother here who said that politicians always go to the village. Nowadays, they are not even coming to the village. So it's high time that for those who have not started, please start. Before even we talk about who will be bearing or the nominations of a party, mimi hata mtu akitaka kuninyima, I have made peace with it. It's okay. And me, I don't think if with all the work I have done, I don't think I'm ready to undergo any nomination. Everybody has their own probably view of things. But what I am doing is I am propagating the agenda of a revolution that started. I have not killed it myself. After meeting the people with the water project, I happened to pop up in a village where I found around 18 men seated just discussing about Gachagua's impeachment. I stopped the car, I greeted them, I introduced myself, and I asked them whether I could talk to them because I am one of the young people who are promoting change in this country. They gave me 15 minutes. So I took them through the seed and variety bill, how it has been criminalizing them. I mean, if they plant potatoes, they are potato farmers. That is what they told me. And as I wind up, I also talked to them about the water bill. I touched a little bit about the horticultural crop authority bill. And I can tell you, those wazes who are in that center, they told me, Mwangi, you have told us that is your name. We are normally here every evening. We don't want the other bills. We have had them on the radio, but nobody has explained to us like that. But come with a copy of the water bill because it has touched us a lot. Fortunately, I have it. So I will print it out, even if it is a 290 something pages. Just taking it to them, I know they will have trust in me. They may interpret it wrongly. They may not have time to read it, But as long as they have it, it is a trust issue that I will have addressed. So those of us who are waiting for a political seat for us to be able to do something, please, or a political party, leadership is not about positions. Leadership is primarily functional. Are you functioning as one before you are positioned as one? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mwangi. I'll go to Flo, then DK, then Ramio. Flo, can you hear me?
I can see Flo's mic on, but when I believe she's speaking, but we can't get Flo. Flo, hey, your internet today is messing you up terribly. Can you hear me, Flo? Can you hear me, Flo? Then I can see your mic on, but we can't hear anything from you. Okay. I think we can move on because we can't hear her. Sorry, Flo, we can't hear you.
Flo, you can drop and then come back. So forward, DK, then Ramio.
Actually, hi, Kowino, if you'll allow me, please allow me to give Ramio the first chance, then I'll come right after him or her.
Fine. Thank
Ramio.
you. Ramio.
Yes, you getting me clear on your end?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful and this moment. Maybe to start with, there is a lot of bills which have been, brought to. Okay, they have been, found their way into Kenya, and they have been, our MPs are, signing bills which undermining the people of this republic. As Kathomi had mentioned a bit earlier, he talked about the agricultural issue and the bills concerning that matter, and how the government is going about those bills, be it of GM and whatever. There is this crucial, agenda that is, circulating throughout the world. I believe everybody has got an hint over it. That is the World Economic, the New World Order, been linked to many NGOs and many people who have come to to spread the world. Recently, there was there was this shift of UNFPA, that is United. Let me confirm. United Nation Population Fund. It was to shift from from New York to Nairobi, and maybe many people had they said this is a good idea. Maybe we'll develop as a country, we'll have security and whatever. But then, if you go keen and read on or do your research on what this means to the to Kenya and to the entire African nations, then you'll be in disbelief, because the whole idea is, the agenda is one, because these are organizations which are under the umbrella of World Economic Forum. The agenda is to, to push for the population, that is to reduce the amount of people in the world to around some 500 million, I think, also. So the agenda have been pushed. There are bills, many bills which have been pushed, or they have been, brought to Kenya, and our members of parliament are, passing those bills without, having a second thought over the same. Go deep on that. Once there is this say Chinua Achebe had said on his book, he said that once a big problem of Africa and Kenya that is in that matter is poor and political leadership. Once we sort out this issue, Africa or Kenya will be the best ever country on the continent at large. To start with, the rank of political leaders in this country, from the ruling party down to opposition, if it's there, they are highly sensitive to kleptocracy and corruption. This found an avenue to use power to expropriate the wealth of the people. That is our wealth, because you've seen lands is being grabbed, you know, people, there is agendas of, you know, building houses, which we, you know, there is no basis for that. So, and many bills which have people don't know about them. And Kathomi also said that the civic education is key for this movement to. People need to get to know and need to get to understand where we are with our country. Many things are happening behind the scenes that people, you know, they don't get this information. And how can, as a movement, a revolutionary movement, how can we make it, you know, accessible to those people who cannot access this data, those who are who are in the rural areas, who cannot access maybe data or online? How can they get this information and don't know their country where it's heading and how it is being governed? So this is our role as people who are here, and the rest of the members, maybe from where we come from. Can we do civic education one-on-one? If you choose 2 to 3 individuals and they spread this gospel throughout being delivered to most parts of the country, and people will be enlightened and know how their country is being governed and where we are heading. Kwa sababu nchi inaendeshwa na udhalimu mkubwa. Unaona vitendo vya kinyama vijana wa sasa wanavyotendea. Umeangalia yule kijana kutoka Mombasa vile alivyotendewa na vijana wenzao. Ni kwamba hawana ni kwamba vijana hawana ule uhamasisho, na kwamba wanatumiwa na viongozi kudhalimu vijana wenzao ambao labda wangejumuika pamoja kwa kuzidisha ama kuungana pamoja katika kupambana na kupigana na huu udhalimu ambao serikali na viongozi wengi ambao wameongozwa na kasumba mbalimbali, ambao wataki kufanya maendeleo na kumnufaisha mwananchi, wanazidi kukandamiza. Wana vijana wanakamatwa kila siku. Yani ni masuala ambayo ni mengi, ambayo ukijaribu kuzungumza ule uovu unaotendeka katika nchi yetu, unafuatwa, unatafutwa, labda unadhulumiwa, labda unakamatwa, labda unafungiwa, unapelekwa kusikojulikana, familia yako haiwezi kupata, haiwezi kufikia. Yani ni mambo mengi ambayo yanatendeka katika Kenya sasa na Kenya leo, na hilo ndo jukumu letu haswa kama viongozi ama kama movement hii, kusimama kidete na bila kuogopa. Usiogope kwamba mtu fulani kashikwa. Hapana, sauti yako labda italeta mageuzi makubwa katika taifa letu. Tushikane mikono kwa kuendeleza ujumbe katika maeneo mbalimbali, katika vitongoji ambavyo tunavyovitoka, katika taifa letu lote. Any platform that you are able to access, try as much as you can to air these. Maybe you can do, you know, you can type, maybe you can record a small clip. You address these issues so that every people who will access through, maybe will be who are your followers or be watching you, will get to know what is happening and where we're heading as a country and as a people. I believe through that civic education, people will get more information and will be able, you know, to gather more and more people, and will be able to educate the entire masses. I believe if we do that, then we'll be on the right way as we journey and forge forward as a movement. I beg to stop there so that another speaker can take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramio. Thank you, Ramio. we are moving forward. Thank you for your submission. Very powerful submission. We are moving forward. I'm going to DK. DK, I was coming to you first, then I'll go to Kumbukeni and Daniel.
All right. SK, asante sana. Good evening to everybody. Thank you to you as well for hosting this space. I want to appreciate all the speakers first who've gone before me and even those who come after. Also those who are listening in. Thank you very much for choosing to be a good governance and rightful political awareness aware person. Political awareness to be something that is of your nature, because it says that you want change. It means a lot to see someone pick their phone, pick their computer, sit by it for the minutes and for the hours that we are going to be seated here, listening to each other and taking on what is being said, because it says that you want a different tomorrow, you want a different Kenya, you want a different country, you want a different nation. You want something right for you, for those you love, for those you care about, and for those that are to come. I'll start by also just saying, as mentioned and as written, my name is DK Gift. I am a young Kenyan, a young father, a brother, and now what I will very in a lot of fun call born again believer of something better as a country. The reason I say that is because for the longest time in my life, as many others who could attest to it here, I have always been a very passive person with regards to anything that is relative to politics. And most times, in the last 3 months, I've asked myself why. Why was I so? And for me, it's because I believed that there is nothing that I can do in whatsoever way that can bring any change. I felt for the longest time that whatever is happening in the wider space of politics does not affect me. Yet in other subtle ways, if I would be honest to my own ignorance and denial, it actually did. I mean, for instance, before the last 3 months, I have watched myself have to spend an extra 1,000 shillings when I go to shop for my family, or when I fuel a car. I have to spend extra coins, or about 40%, almost up to 40% of my salary. And those of us here who have been employed before had to go into taxes and into pockets of people instead of serving me as a countryman in this country paying my taxes. But yet I looked at it and thought, this does not affect me in any way whatsoever. I've jokingly said it before that my day of salvation, and I say it with respect, while humor, but with a lot of respect for all that happened on that particular day. My personal day of salvation was 25th of June, when I opened my phone, opened the television, and watched a young group of people come together and not only take what they had said for a month or two that they would do, but actually take it into action. And I asked myself, why am I not a part of this? What does it say about me? And though I'm not a big overreader in terms of books, I tend to collect a lot of info from digital spaces and things that I pick up on. And there's a famous quote from a famous book by George Orwell that says, "Until they become conscious, they will never rebel, and until after they have rebelled, they cannot become conscious." And that time when I watched that, that's what came to me. And since that day, I became what I am saying humorously. I became born again to choosing to be in the gospel of good governance, political awareness, and civic participation, whether it is by echoing my voice in places where I can, or walking into places where I can actually make action. Now, the submission I want to give today has will some way be a copy paste of what Anthony, who was here earlier, talked about with regards of breaking down that the biggest problem is in not just rural setups and in the machinery and in the shaggies, but I also believe there is a bit of it also that is in semi-urban setups that are there around our urban areas. I believe that for anyone who is asking themselves, just like me, what can I be? What can I, in my small voice, do to drive the change that we're looking for? It will start with the examples that Anthony gave. Walk into town meetings. Look for an opportunity to talk in a youth forum in your church. Look for every single chance that you can get to talk to, even as much as we are all here and on our phones and everything. Not everybody is on their phones on the right information that is driving them to the right place. And just because hashtags are running all over does not mean that people are actually, even in these urban areas, actually buying into the gospel of what we need to push. So this drive needs to run in the semi-urban areas, just as it is driving itself in the urban areas as we drive it to the rurals. Yes, we don't go to our rural areas as many times as we would wish to go in a year because of economic issues, of course, and other plans that always have to come with our work and everything. But if we decide to actually take it from the small step of go into a meeting, talk to a mama mboga, talk to your mother, talk to your sister. I have decided to start from the people around me in the same place. And though sometimes I do find some that don't want to talk about this, some are in the shame of knowing that they believe that they cannot speak because they work for the regime that is there right now. Remind them that it is not about what was the past, but we have all realized right now where we are, change has to come. That it is not a coincidence, because I personally have never subscribed to coincidence at any point in my life. I do not believe it is coincidence that a young man such as Morara, who has been shouting as he has, would end up arrested yesterday. And while today people mobilized in the town, it was on the same day that there was something happening in Parliament on a Tuesday. It all felt so right today that it just reminded me we are on the right path. And there has been so many times between now and 25th that we have wobbled. We have wobbled amongst ourselves. We have fought amongst ourselves. We have said against each other. We have spoken against each other. But if there is anything that today that I've been reminded of today, is that it is very, very easy to think that you can keep a dog quiet. But as long as that dog has been barking and barking, people already know that the dog is there and lives in that home, in that home where it lives. You cannot take it away. And people will always ask, why is that dog not barking anymore? And now where we are, the barking has to continue, and it has started all over again. It has been a reviving day by itself. I also believe, lastly, that the direction of being one as a voice will be better. Kowino, I think you're the one who set this question to people with, I think, Anthony, with regards to whether people should be on different political elements or one. I think having a single voice will be much better than we can ever imagine. You believe in my own, though I could be wrong because I'm not very on political, but sometimes nikinyamaza nikiangalia nafilika UDA venye ilifanywa na venye iliraniwa ni Ruto was a page book read from what the building of Kanu at the start was, which was to create one thing that worked for the middle class and the low class and made everybody feel at home in some way, and created one vehicle that made everybody in some way feel that we are heading towards a direction. Now, I'm not saying we become Kanu, either am I saying we become UDA. But what am I saying? One vehicle could take us to our destination safer, not just faster, safer, and delivered there much better than Kowino ameingia MTN, Ayo ameingia 2NK, mi niko kwa 4NTE. Si wote tumesema tupatane destination. But if we walk together in the same car, if that car gets a puncture, si wote tunashuka chini tunafigure out hiyo puncture tunaendelea. Si Kowino anatupigia kwa njiani anatuambia mazee yetu ilipata pancha bro, hatujui tutafika lini, lakini wacha tunaama tutakam. Tukikuwa kwa gari moja, tutafigure out zile tumeishiwa ni ngata, tutafigure out sa zile mguu imeshuka, and we will actually be able to get to our destination fast, safer, not just faster, because this is not a race for who will get there fast. No, this is a swift race, not a fast. And when I say fast, I mean FAST. This is not a fast race. This is a swift race, and it has to be run together. As I started and as I said, Kowino, you're doing a good job with Ayo for doing this and starting this off. I heard you mention that you look forward to doing it more. And we also look forward to supporting you guys by being here and sharing our thoughts as many times as we can. My name is DK Gift. Do follow me on my fondle, the DK Gift. Thank you and have a good night, and God bless you, everyone.
Thank you, DK. Thank you, brother. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here and for your powerful submission. We really appreciate. I'll go to Kumbukeni. Kumbukeni, then Sefu Sahani. We want to wind up the space. We've gone past time, but yeah, we have to listen to everyone who is on the speaker panel before we go. So Kumbukeni, talk to us. How are you? 5 minutes, please.
Haya basi.
I'm putting on a timer.